another following issue for the other platforms that relay this live broadcast here. Members of the Coalition for Democratic
Congratulations, dit Tweh. Congratulations, dit Tweh. Congratulations, dit Tweh. Viva, ça m'a dit toi, viva! Viva, il qu'on nomme ça, viva! Viva, 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 the man has a key to la brain come viva. Viva! Viva, 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 venerate, viva, viva. Viva! Down, 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 down to political case, down. Down, down, down to court intimidation, down. Down, down, down to weaponizing the judiciary, down. Forward, forward, D2 2029, forward. Forward, I go so go forward. Forward, 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 forward. Edgy Joe says to my coach, forward. Forward, forward, Joe, we are president 2029, forward. Down, down, down to rebury president, down. Down, 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 down to bury all the power former president, down. Down, 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 down to intimidation, police brutality, down. Amanda. Away to Amanda. Maibuye. Liberia. Liberia. Thank you, comrades.
Check.
At this time, comrades, it is important members of the Honor Brand Effect, the fighting forces of our movement, the gallant and resilient cadres, the fearless men and women in the trenches, those who continue to struggle on the bound of the revolutionary Indomitable Mighty Coalition for Democratic Change. It is important to bring you one fraternal revolutionary felicitation greetings from the man who presides over the chairmanship of our movement, comrade and chief convener, Junker Augusto Tweh, the man who presides over the national secretariat, comrade Joseph Tamakoji, and the Irudat youth chairperson of the Revolutionary National Youth League of the Indomitable Mighty Coalition for Democratic Change, comrade Emmanuel Mobile Johnson, Alaya Agostino. And also, comrades, it's important to recognize the extension, like you represent the president, the Excellency President John Manuel comes to 2029. Manta! Manta! Zayo! We are 2029. Zayo! Zayo! Luta!
It's on watch.
At this time, comrades, we'd like to say members of the Folk Estate and members of the Free Press, we'd like to wholeheartedly welcome you in this Papi Solo Revolutionary Press Conference Hall.
Long live, Papi Solo, long live. Long live.
The Mataya Comrade Papi Solo said this party protected the ideological revolutionary construct of the movement many, many years back, and we continue to cherish his memories and the memories of so many gallant forces who continue to struggle under the banner of the Coalition for Democratic Change. Permit me, comrades, to quickly recognize distinguished personalities who've come to grace this important occasion very briefly. It's important that this press conference will be very short, very brief, and very succinct to the point. It's important to recognize Comrade Jacob Dala, Manta, as well as Comrade Alfonso Wallace, Comrade Adu Kanen, and Critical Mohamed Jalo. And for those of you in the diaspora and the media wavelength, you have our revolutionary salute as well. Distinguished members of the Folk Estate, ladies and gentlemen, today's press conference will be addressed by the Irudat cadre trainer, a man who is all over this place in Liberia and Africa, being referred to as the economic czar. Manda! Manda! The man who pen bleeds intellectually, the man who is one of Liberia's finest extemporaneous intellectuals. He remains the creme de la creme, one of the best minds this country has ever produced. Today you speak to the country, speak to the nation on electoral, on convoke and cascades of issues. Whether in the court process and other critical national issues, to inform the masses of the people where we are, where we've come from, where we intend to go, with the people's struggle and the people's revolution. He will better explain that because he has the intellectual calisthenics and the revolutionary pedagogies to navigate his way. We have no time, Congress. We have little time, but this program is being aired all over this country, and Liberians are eager to listen to the venerated Samuel Tweh Jr. Distinguished comrades and friends, ladies and gentlemen, permit me now to invite to this brochure, this pedestal, to this revolutionary political theater, the man who is a no stranger in the politics of the country, the only Samuel Tweh of our generation, the only Samuel Tweh of Liberia, and the only Samuel Tweh in Africa. Comrades and friends, permit me to introduce and welcome to this mission the venerated Honorable Samuel Tweh.
Oh, Fẹ́tọ̀ Tweh.
Iyo, Fẹ́tọ̀ Tweh.
Fẹ́tọ̀ Tweh.
Iyo, Fẹ́tọ̀ Tweh.
Oh, Fẹ́tọ̀ Tweh.
Iyo, Fẹ́tọ̀ Tweh.
Àwọn sọ̀dọ̀.
Iyo, Fẹ́tọ̀ Tweh.
Wọ́n yẹ sọ̀dọ̀.
Ọ̀sẹ̀ máa ṣe fà lọ́lẹ̀ lọ́lẹ̀.
Oh, Fẹ́tọ̀ Tweh.
So, as Finance Minister Samuel Tweh addressed
What is a red dog? Nobody wants to see us today.
Thank you. Please have a seat. The chairman, members, the National Executive Committee of the Congress Coalition for Democratic Change, the National Youth League of the Popular People's Movement, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Many all over the country today are speculating why I have called this press conference. The last time I spoke to the media was in September 2024, upon my return to the country to pursue my vindication through the rule of law. People then thought my comments were going to center on the witch hunt against me and other former officials of the CDC administration. Consistent with the wisdom that it is not prudent to discuss matters pending before the judiciary, I addressed many different issues during that interview. At today's press conference, I will do the same. So those speculating that I'm about to speak on my case are dead wrong. I will, however, say in passing that despite the evident delayed gimmicks from the prosecution and the state, we will prevail in what is a clear example of national security expenditure that is amply protected by Liberian law. We look up to the judiciary for guidance in concluding that matter. So this press conference will center instead on the political factors, the lies, the hate, the envy, the propaganda, the dishonesty, and the shenanigans that aim to destroy innocent individuals in the public space for political motives. The question today we will ask is, why would people in our society, in our government, in our political parties, in our media, in our religious institutions know the honest truth or aspects of this truth, but we refuse to say anything when blatant falsifications are being hashed by malicious individuals to destroy innocent people? Why do those who know the truth on matters become willing accomplices to destroy others by their dangerous silence? Today, I will demonstrate how this evil information manipulation was deployed and weaponized against the administration of the CDC, and how people are intent on sustaining this culture of lies to destroy people in our politics. Those of us who have been caught in the crosshairs of these machinations will fight back with every means at our disposal, intellectually, politically, and of course legally. This will not be and should not be how we conduct our politics. We cannot fight corruption by lying on innocent people. Those who have determined to sustain this culture of lies and dishonesty in our politics and society must be fiercely resisted and fought so that we arrive at a more honest national discourse and will focus on the serious issues affecting our people. Today's conference is about initiating that fight. It is about demonstrating how targeting Samuel Tweh and keeping his name in the public, even when he has done nothing wrong, appears to be the goal of some individuals in our politics and in our media. One of these individuals is Mr. Senator Witherspoon. Mr. Witherspoon has used his full network and spewed out misinformation concerning me for more than 4 years while I was Minister of Finance. Even out of power, he continues to pursue me. Although Mr. Witherspoon faces several lawsuits for libel, he does not seem deterred in maligning innocent people, aiming to destroy their reputation. In the last 6 years, I have treated these machinations as coming with the political territory, offering public clarifications or denunciations. I have always believed a public official should be willing to withstand public scrutiny, but malicious attempts to demean and damage the reputation of an individual is a far cry from public scrutiny. Clearly, these lawsuits have evidently not deterred Mr. Witherspoon and those of his ilk. Today, I'm exposing the conspiracy by Mr. Witherspoon and others to get Samuel Tweh involved in some fake, false 30 million COVID-19 scandal, for which Mr. Witherspoon said on his network on last Thursday, June 26, 2029, that, quote, I will be arrested, Samuel Tweh will be arrested by government. I have here the video footage of Mr. Witherspoon's comments and will play it before taking questions. More than 100,000 Liberians must have heard this malicious garbage. Several persons have since called me to ascertain the veracity of this injurious rant against my person. And since people are actually having conversations about, quote unquote, my pending arrest, with some urging me to change my sleeping location. All of this was something, not only that I really don't know, but no wrong I have committed. Let it be clear that if the government is investigating the COVID-19 World Food Program food distribution, it is the World Food Program that will be under investigation and not former Minister Samuel T. Tweh Jr. I believe publicly demonstrating the abject falsity and bogosity of these Witherspoon-inspired rumors concerning a supposedly 30 million COVID scandal, the public will appreciate the extent and scope of the conspiracy against me and they begin to ask why am I the target of so many in our politics. I will present here publicly available reports on the 30 million, saying which institution was giving this money, where the money came from, how much of this was spent, and how much was left over. I will also show that the current UP administration has authorized the use of the balance of this money, for which, according to Mr. Stanton, I should be or would be arrested. In 2010, let's present the facts to the public and commence the destruction of these evil rumors. In 2020, the government of Liberia, through the national legislature, worked with the International Monetary Fund to secure 25 million loan to support what was called the COVID-19 Household Food Support Program. This program was about giving food to Liberian households during COVID-19. As part of the arrangement, the government and the IMF agreed that the money should be deposited directly into the bank account of the World Food Program, which, according to the government and the IMF, have the best expertise and experience to distribute food on the global and national scale. I was very happy with this arrangement because it meant no Liberian government institution would be accused of, quote, stealing 25 million, since it would be the World Food Program that would be accounting for the 25 million. I was happy that another 25 million would be avoided. You all know the 25 million map of I'm talking about. But as we all can see now, my happiness was futile and short-lived because I am today here talking about 25 million that was directly deposited and spent by the World Food Program. Long story short, the Ministry of Finance, under my leadership, received 25 million from the IMF through the government revenue account and transferred this sum in its entirety to the bank account of the World Food Program. I don't think that money stayed a full day at the Ministry of Finance when it came. It was transferred immediately. Also, the World Food Program received $5 million from the World Bank to the Smallholders Agriculture Transformation Agribusiness Revitalization Project, STARP. This $5 million was released directly by the World Bank as monies for donor partners such as the World Bank do not go to the government revenue account. Based on the final report of the project, which I have, will show you a copy of that. The World Food Program received a total of 30 billion from two different sources: the Ministry of Finance under my leadership, and the World Bank and the Ministry of Agriculture. In July of 2022, the World Food Program reported that it spent 23.838 million and had a balance of 1.17 million to transfer back to the government through the MFDP. The World Food similarly had the amount of 857,000, these are US dollars, to be returned to the World Bank directly. In total, they had a little over $2 million of unspent COVID-19 food distribution money. So in other words, they probably spent a little less than $28 million. Up to the time the CDC administration left office, the World Food Program had not returned this money. Thanks to Deputy Minister Augustus Tweh and his hard-working team, we left a turnover note with recommendations for the incoming administration. I have the entire copy of our turnover note from the Department of Economic Management, which deals with matters of donor funding. But specifically, we have printed out the section on the recommendation that was left with incoming Finance Minister Muhammad Kamara and the UP administration. But it gets more interesting. I have a letter dated March 2025 from Finance Minister Augustine Tweh requesting results to expect from the $234,350 or 20% of the unutilized COVID-19 food distribution money he had previously approved for expenditure on school feeding as requested by the World Food Program. An earlier letter from Minister Gaffwan in September 2020 reads his denial of a request from the country director of the World Food Program to use 500,000 of the unused funds for school feeding. I have also a May 2023 letter from former country director of World Food Program, Mr. Aliu, requesting my approval for said reallocation. Mr. Aliu personally visited me, and I told him then I was not in the position to grant such an approval. We had a good conversation. Yeah. But let's imagine Minister Gaffwan has approved the reallocation, and it is Minister Tweh who is now being rumored to be arrested. Imagine if Samuel Tweh had approved and given the money to Aliu. They would have said Samuel Tweh used World Food Program money for CDC campaign, and maybe I might have been arrested already. So the blue members of the press, these are facts on the COVID-19 30 million. Why did Mr. Waterspoon put my name out there for 30 million? Mr. Waterspoon claims to have received this information from government sources, quote unquote. I don't care about Mr. Waterspoon and his sources. I care that Liberians have falsely been made to believe I'm illegally connected to some $30 million, for which the government is purportedly seeking my arrest as part of its dragnet on former CDC officials. I have consulted my team of lawyers who believe there are substantial merits in libel lawsuit against Mr. Witherspoon pertaining to this defamation. I've instructed my lawyers to file this suit early next week. This will be the legal battle. Today, I will spend some time discussing this and other lies and how these lies have been weaponized against individuals in the CDC administration. I thank you. I will now play the video footage that will take your questions on these after that and other developments.
You're listening to as Finance Minister Samuel Tweh, where he addresses a lot of concerns relating to 30 million United States dollars. So we're going to watch the video footage. We're going to watch the video footage.
Play you the footage so you pay attention. We're beginning the legal battle. We'll do legal, political, and intellectual battle in this country to save our reputation in our country. You can hear it. Right. Right. So,
reactionary tendency. Reactionary tendency. Disinformation. Propaganda. 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 Yo. Disinformation. Yo. Amanda. Away to. Amanda. Yo. Evidence coming outside. Yo. Another document. Yo.
This is the section of the Ministry of Finance, our government's recommendation to the incoming government on what to do with the COVID-19 money. This is prepared by Minister Acosta Flomo. Council says, contact the World Food Program for the balanced COVID 2019 funds to agree on the deployment of remaining funds to support food production. So the remaining funds did not come. So nobody can prosecute any official in the President government for COVID-19. The evidence I will share with that one with you. This is Mr. Gafua's letter denying the 500,000 requests for COVID in September last year. They had asked the minister, the same way they asked me for the balance money, they had denied first. So that's the letter. This is another letter approving. Mr. Gafan subsequently apparently approved 234,000, and he's writing Minister Nuta for results. What do we expect from this money? So he denied first, he approved subsequently, but he's writing to find out what are they doing with the money and what are the impact. He only approved probably 20% of it, so that's 234.
Yo, the one in the cookie jar, yo.
I'm not, no. The minister did. Yeah. This is the legitimate function the minister performing. I could have approved it, but I decided not to because there was a new administration coming. He can approve it, do what it, but let the facts say what they are. You cannot be talking and gossiping in the corner about arresting Samuel Tweh when the very government that should be arresting him for this money, approving the money and doing something with the money.
Yo, government approving and doing something with the money. Yo.
So basically, I will share. We have all the reports on. We have the reports on email and WhatsApp. We share with you the final copy of the July 2022 World Food Program report. We'll share with you Mr. Flomo's turnover note to me, for me, and then for the new government. We'll share with you all of these so that it's clear in the life. You see, we're not going to. The people lied on the city's administration so much and want their way to political power, and they think they can get away with it. So we just lie and say anything, 25 million, 16 billion, you just lie, people die. I mean, they're trying, men like me, people trying to say I can kill him or me. I mean, can you imagine all the people who know me, men and me, people look at me and say I can kill. Some people, so because of that, some people look at my profile in the public and say, you know, they don't know, because they don't know me personally. They just see why it's all the ventures against this one man. Maybe he hears something. Even my chief of staff just died. And people have the audacity to even believe that I can kill Cletus Noah. That's how evil this country has become. And the politics have become destructive. And so those who are there, we have thick skin. Me, I have very thick skin. I was born for political battle. Don't get me wrong. This is my field. Yo!
Allemand dit Tweh. Allemand dit Tweh. Dit Tweh comme il Wambola. Umola. Ribola. Dit Tweh c'est
I was taught and made for politics. So my skin is extremely tough. Very little moves me. I have no fear for any man. And I envy no other man. Because I think what one man does, I'm able to do, so I don't have to envy him. But there is a limit to what a man can take, especially if he has 6 children who are growing up. And when somebody consistently tries to pick on your father, I say, but what is this man doing? Why would you? I mean, people call me and say, 30 million again? Well, what is that? What you did with this money? What happened? I said, come here, arrest you for 30 million. My sister in New York calling me. I said, 30 million? I didn't do anything with 30 million. $10 million is with the World Food Program. The other tragedy about this is that the World Food Program hears this gossip. People in the Ministry of Finance know that the minister is writing letters using the money currently. They sit on spoon and hear all this garbage, and nobody has the audacity to say, hey, stop this. Minister Gafford approved this money just this March. Why are you talking about Samuel Tweh and this money? That's why I say, what kind of society we live in today? When people in our political parties, in our churches, in our media institutions, in our government know the honest truth. When the people who are writing the letter for Minister Gafford know and they're not able to call school and say, you are lying, I just drafted a letter for this money. It's not Samuel Tweh. Why do we do this? So that's the conversation we're going to have today with the media people. And particularly you media people. What is your standard for verifying information? It's an honest conversation. President, we have signed the Table Mountain Law. No, it's not Table Mountain, the Apply Camara. That gave you guys the right to say many things. But there is a limit to which you can lie up somebody. So Mr. Spindle Waterspoon will have to tell us in court who told him that I took 30 million and which government is coming to arrest me for 30 million, for which he has now made, and to me now, to everything, now maybe the whole, maybe 2 million Liberians now get for 30 million, and my name is in there. So it is only the vindication through court. I will compare Mr. Wilson to say something and repent so that the public knows that the journalists or the commentators on social media have a responsibility to truth in our democracy. We want to fight corruption, we want to transform the country, but we should do so honestly. We cannot destroy other people in that process. Right? The falsification that goes on spoon has to be challenged. Just the other night, the man plays my Amuto Ken song. Oh, Amuto Ken, oh. He's playing the Amuto Ken song and saying that that song was because of President Weah's visit to President Biden. Oh, I sang that song when Liberia passed the MCC scorecard. That's why I sang that song. I said we qualified. The 500 million that should have come to this country, I was celebrating for my country. That this government was inheriting. That eventually it may have been 4 or 5 years from now, it was that song. So when you hear that song in the public, and Spoon plays it, link it with the 500 million that will come at some point in the future. That's the celebration I was doing. He mischaracterized that and put it in the form of. So it's a propaganda outfit. It's unfair. They do valuable work. Many of the panelists, I have friends on the show, I think they will morally do the public right if they have to objectively raise the standard of their truth telling. If they're not sure about something, then they need to verify before bringing it out. So when we go to court, my lawyers have told me, I think my case will meet the strongest test of libel. So we're going to fight that legal battle with Mr. Witherspoon. It's not this, I'm not attacking the spoon now, I'm attacking Mr. Witherspoon. He has an agenda personally for 4 years, consistently impugning my reputation in the public when he has no basis for doing so. Thank you. I'll take your questions.
So at this time, Congress, the questions and answers people will be very, very, very rigid. Call your names of the institutions that you're representing, call your name as well, and then go straight to what has been read and said here. Anything outside of that? Yeah, the question here. Yeah, please, you are only asked, you are allowed to ask a question, just a question. Because of time, the number of people here will ask questions.
Yeah?
Yes, brother.
I'm Obadiah Johnson, I report for Front Page Africa newspaper. Good afternoon, Mr. Tweh. You served as Liberia's finance minister at the time the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank respectfully contributed the amount of $25 million and $5 million each to Liberia and its citizens for COVID-19 stimulus package. Don't you think it's prudent enough that you submit yourself to any technical investigation, since in fact you actually headed the country's finance ministry at the time? And what do you think your name is actually linked or implicated in? What do you think?
Yeah,
Do you think it's prudent that you submit
Thank you.
instead of
The next question.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. My name is Pastor Labindi. I'm from Sky Communications Liberia. Mr. Tweh, thank you for your presentation. Will you trust the system in Liberia, the judicial system in Liberia, under the WATC administration, which are going to use defending yourself? In which court are you going to file a lawsuit against the Stanton Weathers in Liberia or in the US since it's not residing in Liberia?
Next question.
So thank you. My name is Hagar Kanda and I work for Freedom FM. Honorable Minister, former Minister, you say, I'm interested in knowing that all of what you've said and considering in going after some past government officials. Why do you think all of these things are happening? Because there are speculations in the public that the government is apparently not seeing the way forward, and as such, they want to play some tactics like breaking up, coming on some former officials of the CDC administration. Why do you think you are always in the news for these kind of administrations?
Next question.
Okay, I understand a report for the National Media. I'm concerned about the colors of the war program. Since you implied you said the money is directly with the war program, why is it they haven't gone silent over this issue?
So thank you. So we'll close the first chapter and then.
Thank you, David. This is a very good question. That's why I'm here. Would you submit yourself to, listen, I'm a patriotic, law-abiding citizen. I will submit myself to any investigation, legitimate or bogus. Let's get it clear. Any legitimate or bogus investigation, I will respond, because as a citizen, you have to respect the authority. If the police came for you, I can't put water in the face and slap them, even if I did nothing. I could be sleeping in my house and police say I didn't sleep in my house, I did something and they come for me. I'll go to the station. That's not the question. So, I'm just giving the public that there is no basis for involving Samuel Tweh in anything like this. So let's say the government has seen the 25 million report, which I share with you, from the money we gave them. And let's say people in the government are not satisfied. Who do you think is the first person that you want to contact? You have to contact the World Food Program, because one of the reasons why we gave the money to the World Food Program was that we did not want another situation where we were politicizing. If we want to politicize it, let's go and politicize it with the World Food Program. Because the World Food Program will receive that money. No Liberian official has access to World Food Program's bank accounts. They control the expenditure. There was a National Steering Committee chaired by Mr. Wilson Tapper. I was on the Minister of Agriculture on it. They were just administering, steering things. They were not involving operational matters. So we're receiving all of these reports. The purchasing of rice, the distribution of rice were left solely to the World Food Program, because they have the global expertise and the experience to do that work. So if there is a problem with the spent portion, there are two portions now. Spent nearly 28 million, unspent 2 million. If we have problem with the 28 million that was spent by the World Food Program, then it's prudent that the government investigate. But as I know right now, there is no asset to recover on the 30 million, because the World Food Program has reported that it spent every time legitimately has given a report to the government. The government has not challenged that report, except it is trying to do so. But if it's trying to do so and launch an investigation, the investigation will begin with the World Food Program. If you ask me in that investigation, Mr. Tweh, what do you know about the 25 million? This is why I'm saying now to the public. I know that we agree with the IMF that I will put the money in the World Food Program account. The 5 million will come from the World Bank. We don't control World Bank finance. The ministers of finance don't control monies that leave World Bank account. World Bank project money goes directly from World Bank to directly from World Bank to the World Food Program, and it goes from the World Bank to other recipients of World Bank money. We don't sign on those. There is a framework at the Ministry of Finance, but the ministers are not involved in that distribution. So that's what I can say on the 25, broadly on the 5, but there is an unspent portion. Maybe there was this rumor, and I'm telling you, somebody even told me that maybe I received this $2 million and gave World Food Program 300,000 of it. So those are the rumors that are circulating. Maybe the man received the 2 million anyway, and he grabbed one food program with 300. So the person who asked the question, why, I will link that question, why is one food program silent? I think that's the best question here for the day. That's the best question. Why is the one food program silent? The one food program should issue a statement. The public is not informed about, maybe they're going to issue a statement because I've had the press conference. That's why I came here. And so this whole thing is there because the one food program is not going to take ownership. But listen, are you saying that we stole the 28 million? Is the government trying to attack us? Is the asset recovery team trying to impugn our reputation? That's for one food program and asset recovery. Now, I don't, listen, let's be careful. I have not been invited by the government. Let's be clear. The government has not written me. The government has not contacted me. I have heard this through Stanton Witherspoon. So let's be clear. I am not accusing the government. Through Stanton Witherspoon, I heard I will be arrested. It will be up to Mr. Witherspoon who told him that Samuel Tweh was under investigation and will be arrested. That's where he will explain that in court. And he will meet his sources. But I don't think I have a fuss with the government now because no letter has been written. Maybe the government knows why. But why all of that? People are speculating on this and destroying my reputation. My sister and family people are calling me. So this is why I have to put stop to this. And the other question was, do you trust the court system? Let me say one thing. If you ask me this question before our war, I'll tell you no. Because we had a Liberia where we had a country governed by men, the will of men. We never had a democracy. There was no auditing, or auditing was manipulated by the government. Anyway, there was no accountability, there was no transparency before the war. If you ask me the question, I will say no. If you ask me the question now, since Madam Salif, not sure our democracy took it to a level, Dr. George Manawia took it to a new zenith. Those two presidents combined protected the rule of law and nurtured our democracy, such that I believe that I am not afraid of the imperial presidency because what judges and courts have seen, we have a democracy where even the judge has an independence that is unprecedented in this country, and the president can do nothing about that. In the 1980s and 1970s, maybe President Wotobo will call you and to put you in jail. President Doe will send for the judge and say, do that, I will kill you. Today, no president can harass any judge. Judges are at the crucible of our transformation today. And so I trust the judicial system because of this fact. Had I not trusted the judicial system, I would not have come from Ivory Coast to face trial. Because I believe, you know what made me bring to war knowing people wanted to arrest me? Is the fact that I believe the rule of law is prevailing. And that while there were those who wanted to arrest me, there were equally those in the Unity Party who knew that an arrest of me would be unjust. And so there would be some tension. That tension would never exist in the 1980s before the war. And so I said, I'm coming under the jurisdiction of the court. I'm not fleeing justice. I'm coming for justice. You cannot be arresting me when I come for justice. And so on the basis of that, on the basis of my trust of the judicial system, I entered the country and I went and submitted myself to criminal code C, and I remain under the judicial. If any government official, this government wants to manufacture any bogus charge and believe that they just want to arrest me, maybe what I need to do is just buy one handcuff and just come here today. I should have put a handcuff on me, let them get that picture and put it in the internet and let somebody because maybe that's what they want. So just put me in handcuff and say we carry in jail. They are able to do so. I'm not afraid of going to jail. I'm afraid of going to jail for the wrong reason. I will leverage my ability to go to jail anytime for the right reason. If you lie on me and I prove and the public believe, I will sleep in jail. So I'm not afraid of jail. So I trust the judicial system. That's your question. That's your answer. Why government do something well? I mean, that's the same thing we're talking about. I mean, but President William took office. One of the things people say, oh, but the country is fragile. The challenges of the Liberian people are massive. This government can solve the challenges of the Liberian people. No, I'm not laughing. One of the things we need to do in our politics now is to say, listen, let's be honest and let's level with the Liberian people. What problems are we able to solve and what problems are we not able to solve? They must keep on forming on the same Tweh. Why are we having debates about, why is our debate about salary payment? I find it troubling, Tweh. Most of the discussion I have about trivial things in the country, I say the reason that is because the politicians do not want to be honest with the Liberian people. So when government salary delay 5 days, we politicize it. General say Look, salary was delayed because of many different reasons. Revenue is not in the government account. But when we politicize all these things to move one party from power, the party that left from power will politicize the same thing. We are fighting over road. This government, our government, secure all financing of all road networks in the country, major road network. I signed under President we are a 10-year electricity financing, 10 years for the World Bank. So that means, forget about President Braga. The financing for the president who will be elected 2029, I signed it. It's a 10-year financing. I signed it, Minister of President. So that guaranteed 10 years of financing. So 6 years, 10 minus 6, how many years? So the next president will enjoy 4 years. So don't worry about this rescue. That the next president will take President We are. If President We are will take himself.
So you listen.
The point I'm making is that let's leave the trivial politics. The fundamental question that bring one now is that Liberians, why we don't have jobs? Liberians, why our budget is 650 million and it's not 1 billion? Sierra Leone budget is 1.5 billion. Cote d'Ivoire budget is 27 billion. Ghana budget is 20 billion. Why is it that Liberia's budget just hangs around 600? And let me tell you that when we say 800 million, the partners bringing 150 there. Your raw domestic, the money yourself bringing here, like 650, 675. That's it. That's the problem. So if every politician will be fighting in this, so listen, don't listen to Senator Duncan. The senator on Southern County, he's raising an interesting debate in the country that we all need to pivot to. He's saying, if we hold it down 600, government salary right now, the government's wage bill right now is bloated. The government wage bill is exploding beyond almost $340 million in the government. When you take $350 million from 600, what is left there? The debt you owe all international people plus domestic, CBL debt, I may get away, in fact, if there was CBL get away. As soon as your money can, whether you get negative, you can CBL take it. When your money go there, you can say, so CBL don't ask Minister of Finance whether to take the money. Because in the agreement with the IMF, all money will go to the bank, we have to be paid on time. There's no delay. So you pay the CBL, you pay your debt, you pay the World Bank. You need around 125 million every year for that. Okay, you're talking about 675. Then the government running itself, you need what? If you give the government 100 million, the government will bring that because 100 million is small to run the government. So what you do? You only start talking about electricity rules here. What you do? So everybody killing themselves around the 650 million, and we think we're doing something here. The president should reach out to the former president and say, my man, listen, I know we have what's power, but I'm rising. Maybe he's leading that direction because I see him going towards the reconciliation of the past. Maybe he will come to the reconciliation of the present. So it's a phase process. Don't rush the old man. He's dealing with the past, and he's right. Let's deal with talk. These are overhanging issues. He's saying, we are sitting down with me. Everybody here, we deal with the reconciliation. And reconciling him means when people do wrong, you shouldn't go after them. No. He said, my man, under your government, you did it wrong. I'll prosecute the government. Man, you did this booty on the government. Let's continue to move the country forward. Let's forget our past. Let's forget our business. You were president, I'm president. So maybe the president has an agenda for the now. I will not speak for him. That politics of witch hunt is not going to get the country anywhere. Because when Liberians have seen, let me tell you, one of the reasons why we lost this election is there were Liberians who, there's a fraction of Liberians. I mean, 17,000 separating the two parties is exactly, you can see that the country is split evenly. But the stubborn Liberians who were made to believe and lied to that we took NGO jobs away, that it was because of President Weir that the economy was declining. I don't care you gave them $50 million. They wanted this experiment to see what would happen after if George Weir were not president. They made a difference for the Union Party. They are the most frustrated and the most disappointed now because they know deception took them away from the reality. Yes. So that is what we have to deal with now. So let's start questions.
Thank you. Let's now come right before the next question. Permit me quickly to recognize the global chairman. National chairman.
What does you do? Yo.
Thank you. So, we are pleased to announce the presence, the arrival of the chairman of the Indomitable Market Coalition for Democratic Change. Retired General, Secretary General, Chairman Committee. So at this time, Congress, again we come to the second batch. Yeah, please don't be repetitious. Second batch. Yeah. Thank you. What now the information coming up?
I'll not wait for the question. Yeah, this is the question. I'm not rest. I'm not rest. You see, that's the question that people are saying. We said all these things. We fought. We fought. We provided everything we are saying today. If you go back to all my clips, you can play all my clips for the last 6 years. You will hear the same argument I'm making. And when people bent on lying the way to power, they will ignore any reality we constructed. People, you think harmonization, you think our Minister of Finance, you think President Weah, you think we take pleasure in fixing a broken wage system at our own detriment? You think so? When we are faced with the reality that if you don't do so, Mr. President, your government has a lifespan of 2020. All the partners who brought money here before 2018 took their hands off and said, well, the time is now for you to take care of yourself. Now we've been taking care of you, not you. Mr. Minister, that wage over there, the European Union, American tax dollars should not be going to finance one person making, one nurse making, or one director making $200 Minister of Agriculture, and a same director with the same skill making $2,000 somewhere. That's a waste of our money. If you cannot end this unfairness, we have a problem in getting international support. And you're talking about 2019. And so what point does the president have? The president has to fix the country. Fixing the country is not a palatable thing. It's a hard choice. Nigerians don't know it, they just want the result. So we have to confront the reality, and you see, the propaganda about harmonization is that harmonization was not about increasing or about decreasing salary, no. And listen, I'm telling you again, because you will come back and ask this question 2 years, I'm telling you, they will tell you what I'm telling you harmonization, there were two systems. There's a basic salary system, and there was a general allowance system. 47,000 Liberians were paid under a basic allowance. 25,000 Liberians. The other thing, they told you, said the wage bill when we came to power, there were around 67,000 Liberians on the payroll. That's the other lie they told you. They told you, said we added 25,000 persons on the payroll. We clarified all those things. People still didn't hear it. Right? So there were 67,000 persons on the payroll when we came. 25,000 of them were getting paid on general allowance. What is the general allowance system? Samuel Tweh today hired his brother and paid his driver $2,000. No system. The way, as I feel, I give it to you. You call your own salary. I said that before. You call your own. I'm going to pay you. I mean, you give me 3,000. The general allowance system pays you. Whereas the people on basic allowance salary, they average at $200, $300 a making. It was unfair. We were confronted with this like this, and we took the tough decision. And no government, not just this government, the next 50 years, the government of Kenya cannot reverse it.
When you reverse the harmonization, put your collapse. You
cannot, because under harmonization, the judiciary is not paying taxes. You know, I love the judiciary, I love the judges, but they always argue with me. You know, we don't have anything, Minister. I said, well, even in America, the judges pay taxes in America. Why should judges or why should people in the judiciary? So there were no taxes. So if you reverse harmonization, you will make sure the judiciary does not pay taxes. Let's ask Mr. Gaffa when you see him the next time whether he will make sure the judiciary will not pay taxes. If he does that, then you know you reverse harmonization. So you cannot reverse. So it's not even a debate, it's not even a discussion. The things President Weah did for this country. Look, I'll tell you one story. The other day, Timothy George, the boy on a closing argument, called me and said, oh, Tweh, I saw Senator McGovern, he was pressing you. Senator McGovern is the chairman of the House Committee on the Human Rights Committee, people who do the human rights thing. He said, I saw him talking to a cookout. He said, I met your finance minister, a brilliant guy. And then I told you, I said, yes. You know what I may remember me? You remember me because the men were bombarding me with propaganda. The congressmen were bombarding. We had a 15-minute Zoom call. He started telling me, he said, well, your President Weah wanted to run for life, so he changed the constitution. He did the referendum so that he could run the first 5, but then he was going to make sure he run for 12 years, so he would run for 12 to 10. 2 5 10 plus a 6 year, and that's a whole exam. That's what we've been told. What? I told Senator McGovern, I said to McGovern, that's propaganda, that's a lie. This is the only president who wants to have his first term will be 6 years because laws are not retroactive. But when the referendum is passed, his second term will be 5 years. So he will serve for 11 years, and that's why he's dead. He said, but that's not what we've been told. I've been seeing all kinds of damaging reports. That's not what they say here. You know what he told me? He said, you got to come to Washington every week. Like McGovern. So I told Timothy Joe, I said, that's why he remembers me. Because I was there fighting. Yeah, I was there fighting. The other company, they brought the auditors there. I mean, all the auditors, all the lies. That's how Koji got censured. Koji is harmless. Jefferson Koji. I've known him from baby. They do no harm. But today, Koji is on the human rights sanction. The human rights sanction is not like even the corruption sanction. When American put out a sanction, the human rights came from Russia. That many might say it, but the Russian abuse is the most dangerous sanction. You put Jefferson Koji on the human rights version of that sanction, we gotta find and get him out of there. So what happened was that there was a barrage of propaganda every day confronting all U.S. countries. And we were sitting here, I was sitting here dealing with harmonization and focus the economy of plumbing. I'm killing myself behind them. The guys are burying us on our side. By the time we went there to fight the minister, my damn is feeling here. So the time we live in some of us believe in, but we come to it. We're made for this battle. We're made. Even the Americans know they said the way people lie on us yet. They know the reality. They're seeing it now. So the question now is, what is fundamentally wrong with Liberia? Because we see some good things on the CDC. They will celebrate the MCC 500 million, but they don't want to praise the government that brought it. What kind of contradiction is that? How you be celebrating a game, but you don't want to thank the man who worked for it? And you say the man government was bad. No bad governance succeeds under the MCC program. Simple. That's why I was saying that song that day. We're still going to war.
At the moment, executions are covered on several counts, including you. That's correct. Direct report. Some of them also we have back as well. Liberians are divided. Some people think that this is a straight fight against corruption by this administration, while others see it as a witch hunt. There are others who are equally blaming this administration for not prosecuting past officials of government.
Oh, you mean you need to do that?
All the past officials of government. So rigorously prosecute execution of government. And then the final question is, what will you do to assume that position again as one life?
Let me answer the first question about prosecuting. the greatest contribution of President Weah, I will argue, in his 6 years, I will not say it rose. I will not say a free tuition. President Weah's greatest contribution is the establishment of an NSCC that should independently go after the evidence that is vested with prosecutorial powers. For the first 12 years under President Seli, NSCC was a toothless bulldog. It could not move. Who empowered, who institutionalized, who changed the law and made gave NSCC's powers to such an extent that the President of the Republic of Liberia cannot singularly dismiss the head of NSCC. He has to seek concurrence from the National Legislature, the Senate. Who wrote that law? George Weah. So if you think George Weah was afraid of fighting corruption, he would not have strengthened the NSCC the way he did. What we want in the country is not witch hunt, it's to go at the evidence. When you present the evidence that shows somebody does wrong and they steal government money, to go to jail. When you manufacture it, like the way I was telling you, coming to Tweh to go in jail for COVID-19 money that he didn't spend, Tweh will win that case. You will get some appreciation for going to arrest Tweh. But sooner rather than later, the majority of the people will soon know that you went after Tweh for the wrong reason, so your fight was bogus. So we need authentic fight against corruption. As a Minister of Finance, you coming after me, you gotta be prepared. And I said that for all ministers of finance. I said that for Gafon, I said that for Amara. Because ministers of finance are not standing ministers. They are appropriating ministers. That's why that's the difficulty. I gave the national elections 4 million more than they needed because of the national emergency. You can't put me in jail because I gave them 4 million, or you will ask them the 4 million and Tweh gave that we're not on budget. Then you use it for election, or do you eat it? And they told you say they use it for election, then you can arrest Tweh, say Tweh gave them 4 million money in the budget. They are the accounting entity. That's it. So this fight, people look at it and say people are fishing. People are fishing. They're fishing. I don't want to, I will not talk about the case that are before the justices, I told you. But there's a fishing expedition on the national security front. It's all fishing. I will tell you, if the government has a legitimate case of corruption or any of our official who embezzle public money, that official should go and put the money back. President Weah will support that, and when he comes back to power, we'll take the fight against corruption to the next level. But it's not going to be on the basis of which one. It's not going to be on the basis of scoring political points that you arrest certain number of individuals so you have succeeded, whereas corruption is even more massive in the current administration. So you can do that. And the former finance minister is talking. I know. You fight finance minister, because I know everything about the state. I'm a member of the National Security Council. That's one of the important state secrets. I can tell you, President Baga, right now, I can tell you, if I open my mouth here, but I will not do some sort of secret thing.
Last question. Last question. Yeah, go on there.
Was there a full audit? I don't. Okay, the COVID-19 report covered our 2020, right? So we gave the money, and then 2022 July, they brought the money. I don't believe the report has been audited. So we have to, the GSC or the current finance minister or the government got to find a way to audit. One of the challenges is we have, you see, now another thing with even the legislature, people accuse, legislature was one of the poorest institutions. They were so struggling. Money for census does not go to the legislature. It goes to the what do you call it? The Central Basket Fund. under UNFP. UNFP is the one that receiving all the census money. So when we religious officials come to take census money, when the Minister of Finance, everybody put it under the UNFP, we get access to the account. So if you say we take religious money, then it means that the UNFP and the UN people give it to us because they alone can withdraw their money. How come? So people have to, our Liberian people have to understand these things. If somebody accusing people of corruption, you have to know, okay, what kind of system you're accusing the man of? There's a bank account. Who are the signatories? Those are the questions you ask. Where the signatories are with the United Nations people. But then how will Nation people take the money? One food program, money is with the one food program. How will Minister Tweh, how will the CDC government people, official, and no official ever did anything around money in one food program. Therefore, we draw the money and go buy things. How? So I support you. I think there's a challenge with auditing the UN, and that's something that began. We broached that conversation. We had the Controller General here. I mean, this man here, commission, worked with the audit of the payroll. The payroll audit, you hear them talking about it. Look, all the work of this government was done by President Weah. There is no substantive, there is no new area. The new area, the only new area I see for this administration is that we solve wage problem. That was harmonization, our payroll audit, all that ghost thing with pattern usual, all that stuff. We solve all the problems. So you come in after us, it's like you can spend your best talent on that area now. Open new field. The field they have to open is how do businesses get loans in the country. That's why I tell you, don't push the people, don't pay there, don't get a free environment, don't go be there. But sometimes I put my back on they have to fight to see how Liberians get up the money and find job. Their challenge is not how to pay government on time. Their challenge is not harmonization. We took the heavy beating for all of that. The challenge is how does the private sector get more loan from banks? All the banks sending down the money, they only want import rice, they only want import oil. What does the Ministry of Finance do? We could not attend to that question sufficiently because we dealt with the macro stability for the first 1.5 years. Then we hit with COVID for 2 years. By the time we balance now, we call our judicial conference and then the president election coming. Our second term was going to be around the full implementation of the jobs agenda. How do you get a job? How was the thing? Then the Liberian people got confused with lie propaganda. We say, okay. And there's a reason. I tell my citizens, people, just sit down. There's a reason. Do you know what would have happened in this country if we won the election and people come back? You know what? I've gone. Sit down. Let it come. Now that Liberian people see so the point get a solution, and the same thing Tweh and we are doing here, doing the bluffing up. Maybe we are not get solution. Now we're coming back, President. We're not coming back on the 2017 agenda. No. The agenda is to solve the jobs problem. Thank you.
So you're listening to ex-finance minister Samuel Tweh addressing a lot of concerns, a lot of questions relating to ongoing. Listen to him talking more about the 30 million, talking more about the freedom of government and also some issues. So keep following. My name is Exceeding Alfonso Member, live from the headquarters of the Coalition for Democratic